Yo, what's up? So here we are again. It's what is it, day 56 of the challenge, of the 90-day challenge. We still have a lot of French to learn. A lot of French to learn. How is this even possible? I don't know, but we're doing it. So checking audios looks good. Now let's jump right into the grammar today. Let me just share my screen here. Um, is it better? Maybe it's better if I share the window. No, I'm going to have to share the entire screen. Okay. Okay, so the thing is that actually I made this exercise last year. It's in I think I was talking to you about this in the last video, the indirect and direct objects. I did watch the exercise video today. It was exercise video 22. Hold on, let me turn that off. So okay, so lesson 23. Is it that qu'on lui offre? What is it? Is it that is it that on lui offre? What does that mean? Is it that we gave an offer? I'm not really sure what that means. But it doesn't matter because we are in petit annonce, petit annonce. And I don't know, nothing too crazy right now. Vous êtes un homme ou une femme entre 25 et 35 ans, sourire, souriante, souriante et dynamique. Vous voulez travailler avec des clients français et à étrangers. This was a new word for me, étranger. Vous savez, you can, you know how to parler pas anglais, pas, that's Russian. Parler anglais, espagnol et italien. Vous pouvez travailler. What's the difference between savez and pouvez? You know how to speak and you can work parfois, sometimes on the weekend. Nous cherchons une réceptionniste. Okay, they're looking for a receptionist. So you need to contact this person in some hotel. Nothing too crazy. And then I watched the video. This was kind of interesting. It like goes through how like this is like short form. You see this like jeune femme, 30 ans, célibataire, blond, yeux bleus, sans enfant, secrétaire. So this girl's looking for a boyfriend. And then it went through all the mm, vocabulary. There was, I think, parfois was kind of interesting sometimes. Privé, I guess, is kind of newish. What is it? Smile? Vouloir? Chariot. This is want or would like. Déjà, this was interesting. It means already. So, like I was saying, because of the amount of reading that I'm doing right now, um, actually, my tutor, she was at her university today. I don't know what university she goes to in Lebanon. Um, apparently, it's close to her house. She says she walks there. So I didn't actually bump into her. So I didn't do the Book of Mormon reading. And now I guess I'm kind of like starting to think that now I'm just going to go to the CBC, the Radio Canada, just every time. And then just every day, every time we read, I'll just scroll down to the section on what's popular, pick something in the top three. I mean, it's easier if you make it wider, actually. All right, so like for example, like what's popular today? Here we go. So we're still comparing platforms for the parties, and then election aux en formation le jour de scrutin est bel et bien aujourd'hui. I don't know what that says. So I'll show you what you could do, what you can do. Now, the interesting thing here I mean, it's a robot, so that's not exactly the same as a real human, but I think for our purposes, it's probably good enough. So what I'll do is I'll just move this over here. We're going to turn this into English, and then we're going to move this over here. And what do we got? So this is what I do with my tutor, basically. What is that? Okay, so let's move down to this. Is it going to translate this into English? Attention. Okay, so I'm just going to use this one so I can look up here. All right, it says attention aux fausses informations. Le jour du scrutin est bien et belle et bien aujourd'hui. All right, so beware of fake news. Election day is indeed today. What? That's crazy. I guess, I guess I've been paying attention recently. Diffuser. Diffuser. Can I slow this down? I can't slow this down. Now, since this is being created by AI, then it means that the audio will likely improve over time. Diffuser de fausses informations sur le jour du scrutin what's that? N'enfreint pas nécessairement de loi selon Élections Canada. Une capture d'écran de where was I? De faux article du Journal de Montréal affirmant que le jour de vote a été déplacé au mardi. All right, we're not going to go through the whole thing. I just wanted to show how it works, basically. It's kind of hard, actually. It's more difficult with the audio here because it's not a real person. So I can't ask it to repeat. I mean, you can kind of like move it around a little bit. And this audio is not as easy as Français Facile. Definitely not. But, whatever. Um, Now, more interesting, I guess, is the idea of what? So, a screenshot of fake article had been. Okay, so a screenshot, une capture l'écran, un faux of a fake article du Journal de Montréal affirmant, claiming. So, this is still in the present tense that the day du vote a été déplacé. All right, so we got the had been moved. Had is a, and then été is means was. Had was déplacé. Probably this is in past participle. So, like I said, I don't think we've studied this yet. When you put two past tense things together. All right, it's been moved to Tuesday for those aged over to limit circulated. Circuler. All right, so that's simple past. A circuler. A plus circuler in the past participle. Some people believed it. Okay, so en cru, en cru. All right, so this is plural for have and cru for believe, probably the past participle for believe. Before the post in question were deleted. Were deleted. So soyons, what is that? Is this some kind of form of être? I'm not sure. The Canadian election is indeed happening today. Élection canadienne a bel et bien lieu aujourd'hui. What is that? Indeed, a bel et bien means indeed. Okay, is in line today. All right, so that was just a quick little example of how the grammar is. It's not. I mean, like when you're looking at grammar in grammar books, it's like so complicated. But if you're doing reading exercises every day, then you're just gonna get used to it. And yeah, so I'm having a really great time. I'm really enjoying like the little exercise, like the little lessons that I'm taking with this website, listening to this lady, and then following the book with her. I'm really enjoying reading because I'm a big fan of the Book of Mormon. I really like it, although it's different this time. Reading it in French, it's very different. I'm having a very different experience from the past because the tutor, the girl that I'm talking to, she's a Muslim, and so like trying to see it from her perspective, from like somebody who already has faith in another religious system, and how would they understand these words, and how do they view people that are claiming that they are prophets, and how do you like approach this type of book, and then actually the real content, like what is Christianity to the Mormon faith. That's like a because of course I like learned it from just going to church as a kid, and then now I'm reading it as a grown man, and you know, woken up, a guy in his 40s who's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna die, or definitely gonna die. I saw it all over the place, and yeah, there's lots of crazy stuff that's happening in the world right now, and like where's the value of having some religious belief? And like, if I pray, is it going to make a difference? Like, these are like real things that people think about. And I guess I didn't, I mean, you believe it as a kid because you're a kid. And then, but now you're an adult and you're like, well, wait a minute. Like, I really need money, and like, I really need good health. And I really want to make a difference in my life and the lives of others. And I really care if things work or don't work. Like, suddenly it's like everything's real. So if everything in my life is real, then like, can religion also be real? And if it's real, then can it make a difference? I mean, it's not just something that's gonna magically change things after I die. Like, is it actually does it have utility right now in my life? So it's become very interesting to have this new experience by reading it in French. And then, of course, like now that I've traveled the world, I've spent my whole life just traveling and traveling and traveling, and I'm still stuck in a foreign country. And like, how am I going to get back to Canada? Suddenly, now like yesterday, suddenly I'm reading Radio Canada in French, and I'm like, "Whoa, like this is something that I never dreamed possible." When I was a kid, you just see French on on the cereal box and or on all the different products in Canada, and I never really thought it was going to be possible that I could start to read the news in French. It's insane, and almost like it seems more enjoyable. Anyway, so I started this. I did a little bit of homework already. I did the. Oh, I think I sent it to my study buddy already. So I already did this section here, and well, it's already 11. Look, it's already 10 after 11. I got other work I got to do. I still got to take the dog for a walk. I'm surprised that he isn't freaking out right now. So let's do this as quick as possible. Let's start it. Okay, so transform the phrases as in the example. 按照式列转换句子，fait du sport, c'est important. Doing sports, remember, du is de la, and fait is what? Is it plural for something? I mean, it has to be plural, right? Doing sports, do sports. Uh, is this is it what's it called when you tell somebody to do something? Yes. Look, it's saying do sports, take the bus, visit the island of Ray, read the book, sleep a little. Nice. Okay. And they want to change it from um, what is it called? I can't remember. To il faut. It means you must. It's necessary to. It's necessary to. It's necessary to prend les bus. Okay, so then you have to change the grammar. But why is there an S? Okay. Anyways, let's you need to take the bus. Dois prendre. I just don't know. And I don't want to spend time thinking about it. Oh, we haven't actually tested out our googly goo. What's it called? Google Gemini. So I ran out of credits on my, what do they call the other one? ChatGPT. Okay, so it did il faut for all of them. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to copy the answers because I'm done. I'm just exhausted. Am I exhausted? Not really. I don't know how to do this, actually. As you can see, my strategy for learning French so far is about, what did I call it? Exposure. I just want exposure. And I'm not trying to force myself. I feel like French is not hard enough to have to really do the exercises, but rather that I should practice the muscle of reading, focus on reading, and over time, and also recognize the patterns. So learn the patterns and focus on reading. And then I'm trying to do two things at the same time. And then as I'm reading, then it's going to give me, I'm going to notice the things that are happening in the reading. What's the point? Okay, so the point is that you only have so much energy each day in order to study French. And whatever you're doing that is going to give you the most amount of exposure consistently over a long period of time is going to be the thing which is going to help you the most in the long run. And when I was learning Chinese, I would say that I loved Chinese characters. It's not like writing letters. It's like drawing. So I was willing to sit there and just write Chinese characters over and over and over, and I just loved it. And I didn't do that many exercises, actually. I didn't like the exercises. The textbook that I had when I was learning Chinese, it had a bunch of exercises. I always felt like the exercises were hard. If you didn't know the answer, then how would you possibly work through the exercise? In that time, we didn't have ChatGPT, we didn't have Google Gemini, and I had a paper dictionary. Actually, I had to look up every single word. So it was all the energy I could muster. What's going on here? Trouver la question. Elles veulent partir. Partir. Partir 2 semaines au Canada. Qu'est-ce qu'elles veulent faire? What is it which they, what is veulent faire? All right. Okay, here's the questions. The example, they want to leave for 2 weeks. What do they want to do? Want, do. Huh. Oh, that's fine. So that's what I did in China. I just loved it. I loved China. I loved Chinese. It was great. I had a really great time. And what kept me motivated was to question vous. The thing that got me motivated was just drawing the Chinese characters, and it was just really great. And I think we're just doing questions. I also really love talking to people, and I would just like everyone I saw, I would just talk to people. I loved it. I would talk to people all over the place, and people loved talking to me because I was in a small town where nobody could speak English, and I was like one of the first white people that they ever saw, and so they just loved it, and I loved it, and it was just this wonderful experience. In 2003, when I first arrived in Changchun, China. Savons danser. All right. Anglais. And then when I went to law school in China, so what happened was I took like a proficiency exam, and then I passed it, and I applied for their law school. So I got an undergraduate degree in Chinese law. And it wasn't that like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. It was like, I want to learn Chinese, and I like social studies. And this will give me a broad, diverse set of experiences learning the language. Oh, that's not the best way to do it. I see that now. Russian, the question is like, what kept you motivated? Russian, I loved to talk to the cute Russian tutors, obviously. So you could go onto this website. There's like a lot of different websites. You can pick a tutor and you could chat with them, and you'd talk to like different people. I was always picking Chinese, not Russian ladies because they were gorgeous and from all over the place. You know, there's one lady that we spoke to each other twice, sometimes 3 times a week for years, like 3 years. When I first started talking to her, she was $4 an hour. The second year I spoke to her, she was $5 an hour. The third year, she was $6 an hour. She was married. She had 2 kids. Her 2 kids had like several years, like 8 years apart. And so she's a stay-at-home mom. And like, just she's always asking me like questions like, so who are you dating? What are you doing? What's going on in your life? She just wanted some window outside of the world. Okay, let's see. Vous voulez un aller-retour? Non, je veux un aller simple sur moi, s'il vous plaît. What does that mean? No. Un aller-retour. Non, je veux un aller simple seulement, s'il vous plaît. Do you want a ticket? Do you want a return ticket? No, I want a one-way ticket. Vous savez parler anglais? Anglais? Oui, je parle. Je sais parler. I am speaking. Why would I say I am speaking anglais? You know how to speak English and Italian. Oh, est-ce que, where is it that you are going? wants to go to Italy, but I want to visit Greece. Yeah, that's not the question, actually. Where do you want to go? Okay. Okay, fine. Elles savent danser. Oh oui, elles savent très bien danser. Okay, it's fine. I'm satisfied with this. So I can send this up to the study buddy. And we could close that up. Oh no. Well, do you know what I really wanted to talk about today? It's already 11:20. Did it stop raining? Sounds like it might have stopped raining. The dog is here. What are we gonna do? Parler, donner, écrire. So let's just do a quick review. So in French, if it says it's kind of like in English we use the word to. So speak to someone, give something to someone, write to someone, telephone to someone, répondre to someone, whatever répondre means. And in French, when it says that means that they are a direct object. After the is a direct object. And there's a certain set uh, of object pronouns that you need to use when it is a direct object, and then there's another set of pronouns that you use when it's an indirect object. Respond to. Let's actually put that in there. Oh no, I threw them in the garbage. Okay, I had them all here, and then I threw them in the garbage. Okay, so to respond to look like, and to please somebody. It's mostly makes a difference with him and her and the they forms of him and her. Maybe moi. Is it ma and moi? All right, so for example, we got me, te, lui, nous, vous, leur. And what is this one? 间接宾语. This is indirect. 间接. For some reason, it never does this. I don't know why. Simplified. Chinese. 间接. Indirect, yeah. 间接宾语. 宾语, bing or bin? 宾语. Indirect object. 人称. 人称, what is a 人称? Pronoun? Personal pronoun? Person. 代词 is, I think 代词 is pronoun. Yeah. All right, so indirect object, personal pronoun. It's in French, they call it a COD. So what we could do is we could change this to French. Pronom personnel complement. So here, it's a complement of an object indirect. We got me, te, lui, nous, vous, leur. So the most important one is lui and leur. Because why? Lui changes to il and elle or something else. And leur changes to les. Yeah, it must be le and la. So if it's a direct object, then we say le and la and les. But when it's an indirect, then it becomes lui and leur. And then you can remove the me, the e of the me, and the t and the e of the t. Okay, so for like this, so il parle à Julie. He speaks to Julie. So that's a direct object. He is speaking to Julie. But the problem is that when we change it to her, il, lui, huh? It's saying it's an indirect object. They're using the indirect object form to say that he, her speaks. He speaks, he, her speaks. J'ai téléphoné et mes parents. Je leur, I, them, have telephoned. Here it said Marc téléphone à moi et écrit à moi souvent, often, frequently. So Mark calls to me, uh, telephones to me, and writes to me as a direct object, and then as an indirect. Yeah. Tu parles à ton professeur de français? Oui, je pose souvent des questions à mon professeur de français. So in this specific instance, see, I think there's a couple of ways to attack this problem. And the way that this girl is attacking the problem in her lecture is that she's saying that we use, if I say tu parles à ton professeur de français, so I'm speaking to my French professor. When we form it, when the object is clearly known and we use à, when the object is clear and we use the à in French, does that make it a direct object? When a preposition a is required by the verb to introduce an object, the object is an indirect object complement. It's not a direct object. Okay. Qui, who, and quoi, what ask directly after the verb. It's not introduced by the preposition a or de. Je vois le livre. Okay, so this is exactly, so I see the book. So you don't have an a because I see the book directly, or I call Paul. And then the indirect, why is it an indirect? À qui and à quoi? À quoi? I speak to Mary. So I'm speaking to Mary. Okay. So it's hard to know exactly what it means based on the meaning. Because, for example, here, so I speak to Mary. I'm not actually speaking to her. I'm speaking words, and then the words are being transferred to her. So what are you speaking? I'm speaking words. And then we can replace à Julie with Louis. J'ai téléphoné à mes parents. What are you doing? You're telephoning. What are you You're using a phone? Or writing? What are you writing? I'm writing a letter. I'm telephoning using a phone. Tu parles à ton professeur. So you're speaking to your professor. See, this is the problem I have with speaking and seeing. So I see my professor. I see my professor. J'ai vu professeur, le professeur. I see the professor directly. Okay, well, what's that? And speaking. What I'm speaking, meaning like I'm actually doing the action of speaking, and then the speech is going to the professor. That's why it's indirect. Juliette est en train de lire. So this looks like it's direct. Juliette's on the train and she's reading this book. Oui, j'ai prêté ce livre à Juliette. Yes, I have. What is this? Prêté? True. I lent. Yes, I have lent this book to Juliette. Oui, je lui ai prêté ce livre. Okay, so lending the what did you lend? I lent the book, and you lent the book to her. Tu feras suivre Marie et Annie. Oui, je rends visite. I often visit to Mary and Agnes every samedi, Saturday. Oui, je leur rends. I them visit que les enfants ne sont pas sortis. The kids haven't left. Non, j'ai défendu. I stopped them. I have stopped the children from leaving because that il fait vraiment froid aujourd'hui. It is really cold today. Non, je leur, I them have stopped from leaving. Okay. I don't know. I think that's good for today. Thanks for joining me, and that's all the words I have.